Hello. Um, did you guys hear the sound on the intro? Let me know because it wasn't playing on my end. And on my other podcast last week, I was having issues with my microphone and stuff. So I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me okay and that you heard the intro. Um, Normally I can hear it on my end, so I'm a little bit worried. Um, Let me share the show here in the comments. That is a StreamYard link, super easy to use if anybody wants to join the show. But if at any point it ends up where I have audio issues, just make sure that you guys let me know in the comments. I tried to switch things around a little bit and, like with my computer. So hopefully that will work. Okay, just sharing the show. Hopefully you guys will take a break to do that as well. I have quite a list of topics to talk about because, I was off last week and actually the week before as well. And I am so sorry. I really wanted to try not to take weeks off at all, but life gets in the way, and I ended up being pretty sick last week, so I did not do the show, and I apologize. But I appreciate you guys sticking with me and coming back and chatting with me. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about, you are more than welcome to get it in the comments. Especially if it's something that you're struggling with. We don't ever want anybody to feel like they are alone in their struggles. I just watched a TikTok where it was just literally this guy sitting in his driver's seat of his car, and he was just screaming just about how he's so unhappy and he doesn't love the things that he used to love anymore, and he feels so alone. And there's thousands and thousands of comments of people saying that they feel the exact same thing. And I think he understands that now that he's not alone. But, obviously when he made the video, he was very upset and felt like there was something wrong with him. So I think obviously that's the whole point of me doing this show, is just, I think it's so important for people to feel like they're not alone in these like big feelings that they have. And I say big feel, I'm used to talking to my children about about things, so I call them big feelings. Anxiety, depression, anything that you are struggling with, those are big feelings to me. Those are things that change your mood. Anything that has a big impact on you is a big feeling. That's what I'm talking about. But so if there's something that you are struggling with and you want to talk about it, if you don't want to put it in the comments, you are always welcome. I probably won't check like actually during a show, but send me a message and I will talk about it. I was talking to somebody about it and they were like, I don't know, I just feel like, what if you like accidentally slip up and say my name or something? So I was telling this person, I actually have a list every week of topics that I want to talk about. And there's been so many times where I will bring something up and it's actually something that somebody had talked to me about. And you guys didn't know. So I promise you I can do it. But so I at my work, we are doing this thing. We were talking about how we should stop, not just do like numbers and houses and things like that on our Facebook page, and we were talking about how it would be cool to let people like get to know us, like the agents and the office people and whatever. And so my work came out with this questionnaire, and it's amazing. Honestly, they did a really good job. And it's just a Google Docs, and they sent it to everybody, and it's a bunch of questions just about you. You answer these questions about yourself. And there's a lot of like pretty straightforward ones, like, do you have any kids? Are you married? Like, what's your favorite food? Things like that. Um, and then there's so many questions that really had me thinking just about like who I am as a person. And it had me shook. I don't know. There's First of all, there was a lot of questions that I did not want to answer, and then I didn't because, sometimes there's just parts that you don't want to talk about. And, when it's going to be used for social media marketing, like probably don't want to talk about those things. But yeah, it really just having those questions asked, like, what's your definition of success? Like, if you weren't where you're at now, what would you be doing? And what are you grateful for? And things like that. And a lot of it was like really good reflection, but it just, it really had me thinking, honestly, like about how other people are answering the questions. Because I tend to overtalk, obviously. So, where most people would just be like, one sentence, mine's like two paragraphs. So they're probably not going to be able to use very much of it. But it was a great questionnaire, and I I kind of I kind of want to I kind of want to post a questionnaire for you guys. Because it really was, I didn't even finish the questionnaire, but it really was a good way to like reflect on just who I am as a person. I really wasn't expecting this, you know, seemingly harmless work questionnaire to end up causing such a ruckus in my life. I've been thinking about it for 2 days now. But I think that I'm gonna make a questionnaire for you guys. Obviously, you don't have to like type out answers for it. I'm not gonna be using it for social media marketing, but um it was just really cool to sit there and to think about the questions and think about my answers to it. So keep an eye out. I might be doing something like that. Um and it also, so I don't know if I told you guys, but a friend of mine passed away. Gosh, it was probably a month ago at this point. Um, and the other day, I just went to go look at his page, um, and he was very, very political. Anytime somebody posted anything political, he was always there to comment on it. He was always posting all these memes um, about the Republican Party, whatever. Um, and I went to go look at his page the other day, and it really got me thinking about our legacy. That's why I posted that in the description of the show today, because I really do want to talk about this. um, I think that we need to be very mindful of the things that we put out to the public. Um, because someday that's it. You're going to be gone, and your friends and family are going to whenever they have one of those moments in their grief where they are missing you, they're going to go to your page and they're going to look for happy moments. They're going to look for, pictures of the two of you together. They're going to look for like, just things that will make them happy and remind them of the good times. And, I went to my friend's page and, other than like, um, what people had posted after he passed away, like everything was just not, not, it was not the way that you would want people to remember you. It didn't make me feel any better when I was having my moment of grief and I just wanted to look at his page. I just think that it's super important for people to remember that. Um, the other thing is I have a friend. Okay, we're gonna get to Easton's Mother's Day project that made me cry, but he had no reasoning. It just said in his assignment notebook that he needed 2 to 3 pictures, and he had no idea what it was for. It just said 2 to 3 pictures for project. And I'm like, what kind of pictures do you need, bud? And he's like, I don't know. Well, are you working on a project? Are you working on like a Google Slides thing? Do you need like pictures of an animal? Are you working on social studies? Do you need pictures of the Declaration of Independence? Like, what are you doing? He had no idea. So I started messaging like other moms in the classroom, and I messaged one of my friends and I said, "Hey, do you know what are these pictures that they need?" And she said, they need pictures of their mom. And it's obviously for a Mother's Day project that they're working on, whatever. And she said, I don't allow pictures of myself. So my son has to draw a picture of me. And I spoke out of turn and told her my feelings. And I probably shouldn't have, but I just wanted her to think about it. Trust me, I understand body dysmorphia. I understand not loving the way you look. I understand looking at a picture and feeling terrible about the way that you look in the picture, whatever. Um, but again, at the end of the day, like someday you're going to be gone. You're not going to be there anymore. And your kids and your family and your friends are going to look for those pictures to help comfort them when they're grieving. And her kids are not going to have any. They're not going to have any. And that makes me really sad. Um, I feel like it's so important. It's so important, you know, for dads to take pictures of moms too. Listen, everybody's guilty. If you look at any family pictures, it's always like, the mom's always behind the camera taking all the pictures. And it's super important, guys, partners, spouses, whatever. If you have one spouse who is always taking the pictures, take some pictures of them as well. Because, like, I have all these great pictures of my family, and, you know, we go to adventures and it looks like my family's all having adventures, and then like I will take like selfies with my kids, but then you can't even see the background. Like I don't know, it just looks like we could have taken it in our front yard. um it's just super important. And I've really, I don't know what's wrong with me lately. Just lately. I know what's wrong with me the rest of the time. um but lately I really have been thinking about, what we're leaving behind, and what people are going to see after we pass away, because it is a huge part of grief, for people to look for those memories and to look for, things that remind them of happy times with you. And it just breaks my heart, to see my friend's Facebook page, and everything is just so full of hate. And I had some wonderful times with this person. Um, and they were there for pretty big parts of my life, like pretty big major milestones. And, to go back and to be sad, and to go back and to look at their page, and then all you see is just hate. And I don't know, it's not how I would want to be remembered. Maybe you do. And maybe you just forever want to go on a political rant, and that's what you want everybody to remember about you. But me, I don't. I want people to be able to take comfort, and to be able to pause for a moment from their grief, if that's what they're trying to do. And I want them to be able to look at my page, and for it to be a good thing. It's I don't know. It's just hard. It's just hard. It's a hard thing. I was really sad, and I wanted to change that. I wanted to not be sad anymore when I looked at his page, and instead I was sad and angry at the same time. So that was did not have the desired effect that I wanted it to. Um, and please just take pictures. Please take pictures of your whole family. Gosh, it's so important. And people make fun of me because I'm always taking pictures, but you know what? Um, my cousin actually had a baby that passed away when he was 6 weeks old. And it obviously was terrible, but in that 6 weeks, we had hundreds and hundreds of pictures of him. And then you'll have somebody who dies at 100 years old, and there's like one photo album of them. There's like 100 pictures, and that's it. I don't just take pictures of everything. I mean, I I am always the person at funerals who, makes the photo boards and makes the slideshows and whatever, because to me it's super comforting to distract yourself. Um, at funerals, I do not do well at funerals. We could do a whole show on that. But it's really nice to, you know, distract yourself while you're at a funeral, and to just look at pictures and laugh about things that happen, and talk about, oh, remember the time we went and did that, or remember this, or remember this house, or whatever. Um, so just take more pictures. It's super important. Um, Even if you don't like the way you look in the pictures, because your kids and your family and your friends, they all like the way you look, and they would all love to be able to look at you one more time, after something happens. And that's super morbid, and I'm sorry, but it's facts. And I think that, anytime I have somebody in my life who passes away who's young, it's always like such a huge reminder for me. And I hope that it is for you guys too. I hope that, you just have a totally different appreciation for life. That was one of the questions on my questionnaire that I had to do for work. And it was, what are you grateful for? And I said literally everything, um, every single part of my life, because today is something that was not granted to so many people. And we got to wake up today. And so we should definitely be super grateful for that. And, yeah, your job might suck, but you have a job, and that's something that a lot of people don't have. And, your car might need new brakes, but there's so many people who don't have cars. Um, there's a staggering number of people in this world that don't even have clean drinking water. Like, let's be grateful for everything that we have. And anytime I have somebody pass away who is younger, especially if they're like my age or younger, that's it. Um, it's just such a huge wake up call for me. And I hope that you guys can try to do that as well. Um, my poor son is 19, and within like a couple of months of each other, he had two of his good friends pass away that were his age. And that was a super tough life lesson, at 17, 18 years old, to learn, that those people don't have today, and they will never have, any of the things that you have. They will never have, their graduation. They will never have their wedding, So it's just really important to be grateful. It definitely changes your entire outlook on everything. Um, you want to hear another one that blew my mind? There was this, I don't know, it was a TikTok, Facebook Reels, whatever. But it was this guy, and he was saying, like, anytime that his kids are driving him crazy, like things are chaotic, somebody spilled milk on the floor, nobody's listening, the baby's crying, whatever. Um, he said someone told him to imagine that you are 80 years old, and you somehow get your hands on a time traveling device, and you are taken back to exactly this moment. And this is the only moment you are allowed to relive. And this is the only moment, you only get 5 minutes back, traveling back in time. And so think about how you would react to that moment if you were in that situation. If you were 80 years old and you somehow got to travel back in time, and that was the one moment that you traveled into, you would look at it totally different, right? Because your kids grow up too fast, and you're never going to have that moment again. And to be able to time travel back to it, you would be so appreciative of it, and you would be so thankful, and you would be crying happy tears, and oh my gosh, I missed this, right? So try to think like that now. Um, and that was like that was one of those that was one of those moments where I was like, "Okay, now I feel like a jerk for for being upset in any moment ever." Because when you just look at it in a different light, then you realize that you do have so much to be grateful for, and it doesn't seem like it all the time. And that's another reason I try to keep my Facebook page squeaky clean and nice, because sometimes I do forget. Sometimes I get in a funk and I forget how amazing my life is. And so I use my Facebook page as like a reminder. It's my little time travel device, and I get to be that 80-year-old woman looking back on her life and realizing how amazing it is. So that's another reason I try to keep my Facebook page like just super nice, because it should make you happy, and it should make other people happy. Maybe not right now, but um okay, here's another one. I'm just trying to focus on just being grateful and just being a good person. Um there is a saying that says, if the words that you say were tattooed on your body, would you still be a beautiful person? And that hits me in the feels. Um I think that that is so important, and I think that we as a society in a whole should be focusing on that. Um, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of people just being ugly to each other for no reason. Um, People are just morally repulsive, honestly. I can't handle it. Anne agrees. Um, I I think that we should focus less. And I'm not just saying this because I'm unattractive. I'm saying we should focus less on physical beauty. We should stop putting there should stop being like fashion shows and like, you know, influencers who push girls to not eat, and you always have to have the best makeup, you always have to have the best whatever. Let's start spotlighting people who are good people. Let's start putting people who are kind into the spotlight. Let's start making it cool to be nice. Like, how amazing would the world be if we switched from physical to emotional beauty? Like, chef's kiss, the world would be amazing. Um, if we started, especially at a young age, just start like showing kids. Like, I try to explain to my kids doing nice things for people. They did this study because people are super smart. They did the whatever, the brain waves study, whatever that one's called. Um, but they did a study where they showed that people who do nice things for someone, there's like the happiness level of your brain, the happiness area of your brain like lights up, right? Super active. It causes you to be happy. Doing something for someone else causes you to be happy. Never mind like the how life-changing it could be for the person that you're helping. You're also helping yourself because you are just happier when you help someone else. But here's the crazy thing. It's not even just those people. It's someone who watches someone else be nice to someone else. Like, they don't even have to be part of the transaction. Just watching someone do something nice for someone boosts your happiness levels in your brain. Like, it's science, okay? Like, okay, that's why it's called a feel good story, right? Like, oh, you want to hear a feel good story? Because it does make you feel good, right? You're happier. Um, so why don't we like encourage that? Start them young, start explaining like just how great it is to help other people. Anne wants to know, when did the golden rule go out the window? I have no idea, but it was definitely sometime in my lifetime because I was definitely raised to treat others as you wish to be treated. I'm gonna I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that that rule went out the window when social media was created. I think that's fair, right? Um, I think that that was honestly the game changer for society as a whole. People stopped being personal and they stopped thinking, it's different when you go to the grocery store and you see that person in real life and you recognize that they're a person. But when social media came around, then people don't see that anymore. They just see it as, they don't care about the person in the picture. They care about how many thumbs up there are, right? That's it. People care about likes. That's it. Um, I don't I don't know how to stop that. I wish, when it's getting better. It is getting better. Um, I'm noticing that whenever somebody comments and says like some dumb shit on somebody's post, they say terrible things, whatever. I am noticing that people are starting to comment and be like, "Yeah, that was unnecessary," which is good. I think that's where it starts. Um, I also think it starts with stopping. Like, the one that bothers me the most is fight videos, like videos of kids fighting in high school and stuff. Don't share that. Why would you put that on the internet? They do it for the thumbs ups, right? They do it for the likes. Um, if we could just collectively stop sharing stuff like that and commenting on it and giving these people like the fame that they are looking for, then that might help. But I honestly think that social media had a huge part in, you know, people not treating people the way they wish to be treated. It definitely was in my lifetime, and my kids will disagree, but I feel like I'm not even that old, I feel like I'm way too young for the world to have changed as much as it has in the time that I've been alive. You know, uh, I feel like it's been going like you would think that it would like go down slowly over, 100 years, 200 years, whatever, like things would slowly start to change. It changed so fast, man, so fast. I would say even in the last 20 years, I would say. And I'm gonna double down and say that it was social media. Um, so yeah, like that's you're absolutely right. Because if you wouldn't want somebody to say those kind of shitty things to you, then why are you going out on the internet and like saying terrible things to people that you don't even know? And that's what I try to explain to my kids too is like you don't know that person. Even if you like go to school with them, you're friends with them on social media, whatever, you don't know that person. People are very good at hiding things. And I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. Obviously, people do hide things in a bad way, but there, which I probably have told you guys this story already, but when I was working at the gas station, there was this guy who was just miserable, and like made it his life mission to go around and make everybody else miserable too. Would walk in and just, I had a shit day. Like, okay, like why do you have to be mean to us about it? But he actually yelled at me for smiling so much. He said, you don't have to be so happy and effing smiling all the time. He yelled at me for being happy. And I just looked at him, still smiling, of course, because especially in like a nervous situation, I just smile even more than I normally do. But I just looked at him and smiled and I said, "Hey, just so you know, my house is in the process of being in foreclosure right now." And his face dropped. He's like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "What are you gonna do?" And I was like, "I'll get it figured out. I'm not stressing. I mean, whatever. I'm stressing about it, but um, I'm not worried about it." And he's like, "Why are you still smiling then?" I said, "Is it your fault? Did you steal my money? Did you not pay for my mortgage?" And he's like, "Well, no, that's ridiculous." And I was like, "Yeah, it is ridiculous. Why would I take it out on you? It has nothing to do with you. Why would I come into work and be shitty to everybody? It has nothing to do with anybody. It's my shit and I need to handle it on my own and I need, whatever." And um he's like, "I had no idea." And I said, "Yeah, that's the point. Like it's nobody's business. I'm not going to sit here and scream it from the rooftops, but the point is you have no idea. You have no idea. And even if it is somebody that you think that you're friends with or that you think, that you're friends with on social media or whatever, you work with them, you don't know. You don't know what happens when they go home. There's especially kids. Oh my God, kids are so mean to each other. There are kids who might go home and they don't have food to eat. Maybe their parents aren't there. Maybe their parents are there and they beat the shit out of them. Um, these kids have no idea what somebody's going through. And that's the part that bothers me the most about the whole like keyboard crusaders and all of that. You seriously have no idea. And you don't know what somebody's last straw is, and what they do once that last straw happens, you know, uh, whatever bad thing happens, you don't know what their last straw is, and you don't know. God, can you imagine you say something to them and they were like, "That's it, I am gonna do something terrible." Um, so many people are so close to that. So many people are at their breaking points and you have no idea because they fake it. They're good at hiding it. They still go to work and they smile and whatever, and they still talk about the weather and act like everything's fine. You don't know what that person's going through. And I don't know, maybe because I'm an empath, I think about that all the time. I think about that, but I feel like that's something that people don't think about anymore. Um, Anne said, exactly. I've gotten pretty convincing at hiding behind a smile. I don't want to burden people with my issues. I just deal with it myself. There's this, this is, used to be before I decided to have a podcast and talk about all my shit and burden you guys with my issues. This was definitely something that I used to do all the time. And I'm going to challenge you, Anne. Um, if I were to call you or message you and I was like, "Hey, I'm really going through some shit. Do you mind if can I borrow your ear for 5 minutes?" Would you tell me that I was a burden to you? Would you tell me, "Ew, no, I don't want to listen to your problems"? I'm not going to wait for your answer because I know the answer is no. And we forget that that works the other way too. Um, and the other thing too is like, I know for a fact there's like very few people who have issues that have not been like felt or dealt with by people around them. You know what I'm saying? Um, like, let's say that I am feeling like a terrible mother because true story, just fed my kids Wendy's tonight because I didn't take anything out for dinner. I didn't have time to make dinner, whatever. Say that I'm feeling like a terrible mother today. Do you think that I'm the only person that feels like a terrible mother? No. Do you think that other moms might be like, enjoy a vent session where we can all talk about how we feel? Absolutely. Um, it's a personality flaw that we have. And I, okay, I'm gonna relate to you on this. I'm not like one-upping you, but that's literally the point of the show, is to make you guys realize you're not alone. Um, this weekend, I was at the ER and I was like in a lot of pain, whatever. And the nurse came in and checked on me and she was like, oh, I had to do a urine sample, but I was like hooked up to an IV and all this other stuff. And she was like, do you think that you could do your urine sample yet? And I was like, oh yeah, I can go anytime. And she was like, okay, didn't they tell you to push the button when you needed when you were ready to go do your urine sample? And I was like, yeah, they did, but it sounded like you guys are really busy out there, and so I didn't want to bother anybody. I said I didn't want to bother anybody. And she literally put her hands on her hip and looked at me like, she gave me that "Are you kidding me?" look. And so she was like, "Okay." She's like, "We are not too busy for you. You are one of our patients as well. Um, just let us know if you need anything." And I was like, "Mm." I'll be okay. And she's like, "Okay, so obviously I'm gonna have to check on you because you think that you can't ask for things." And I was like, "I mean," I said, "I'm not trying to bother you. I know you're super busy." she was like, she was like, "It's my job to help you." I can't do it. I can't do it. I cannot do it. If I ever do, like, call somebody and ask for help, here's me. Here's me. "Hey, so maybe if it's not a big deal, if it is a big d you could say no, it's fine. But do you think that you could blah, 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 insert minute favor here." And then immediately I'll be like, never mind, I'm sorry, I didn't just ignore me." And I know for a fact that you would not ever think that somebody was being a burden if they were struggling and wanted to talk about it. Therefore, you are not being a burden when you do that. And I absolutely could have guessed that you did that at the ER before too. Um, it's hard. Listen, I am telling you, it is a personality flaw. It's not something that I can just stop doing. It doesn't matter what the situation is. I am going to feel like I am a burden to people. When I had my surgery, my husband took a layoff at work so that he could be home to help me because he knew that I was going to need it and because he loves me and wanted to take care of me. And here's me, you know, he would bring me my water or something, and I would be like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll just get it myself." And he's like, "No, you won't. You're not supposed to be getting up." And I would apologize like 100 times a day for him to do the thing that he took off of work to do. Um, he wanted to help me, and I don't know. I'm the same way. I normally, I have my, like, 2 people, maybe 3 people that I will talk to about my feelings, but I generally am pretty good about hiding them, and obviously, I'm talking, like, pre-podcast because, now I just make it my life mission to to talk about my issues, but, yeah, I got really good at it. I got really good at it. I would never let people know. There are people, like my friend Shelly can tell from across the room if there's something wrong with me just in little ways, but there's people who, like, I would know them for years, and then I'd finally get to the point where I'd say something to them, and they'd be like, "Oh my god, I had no idea." Yeah, that's how I like it. Um, but don't do that. I know I'm sitting here telling you I do it all the time too, but honestly, I do feel better, like, actually talking about things. And, you just gotta find the people who you trust or, like, I don't know. What's a good time, and is driving in the car. Um, I have some of my best, like, vent sessions with my friends just driving. We drive to, like, the Amish stores because 'cause we're super cool. We don't, like, go on, like, cool road trips or anything, but, just taking, like, a half hour, 45-minute car ride, um, just do that every once in a while. You don't have to, like, call people every day and tell them everything that's going on, but sometimes it's just nice to talk to somebody, because really you will realize that a lot of people feel the same way, or a lot of people struggle with the same things. Um, it feels like, especially, I'm gonna blame social media again. I should change the title of the show to anti-social media. Um, but social media, you look at it and everybody's like so happy and everything's wonderful and everybody's got a great marriage and everybody's got this and it makes it hard because then you're constantly surrounded by all these people who are perfect and happy, and then it just amplifies the feelings of being alone or the feelings of like I know anytime I like am in a funk or I'm depressed or anxious or whatever, I think that the thing that I feel the most is like what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Because it feels like everybody else is happy. Everybody else is doing so great. Everybody else is always smiling. Everybody else has perfect lives. And then there's me. And why am I feeling sad? Why am I feeling like worthless? Why am I feeling these things and nobody else is? Um, so yeah, find your soul tribe. It does suck that you're like super far away because I'd totally be down for driving around in the car. Um, or hikes. Hiking is good too. That's a good time to vent. But it's I think that was the thing that I struggled with the most. And honestly, it was the reason that I wanted to create this podcast because gosh, when people actually speak about things, when people actually say things out loud, it's first of all very therapeutic to talk to somebody about it. But when you do say it out loud, you can't even imagine how many people will be like, "Yes, me too." And I feel like that me too part is so freaking important. Um, because the biggest struggle for me was always, why is it just me? Why am I the only one that feels this way? And you'll realize that you're not. That these feelings that feel totally abnormal they're actually normal, and most people feel them or have felt them at some point. And that's when you learn like different ways that people cope with things, that my friend Jesse and I, we had our vent sessions, and that's when we created the 5-minute rule, and it's just in those little times where you get to share things with people that you might come up with a solution, and it might literally change your life, because that was something that definitely changed our lives. And 20 years later, oh my god, no, 17 years later, holy shit, I've known her for a long time. um 17 years later, we're still doing the 5-minute rule, and maybe we don't actually set a timer every time, but it's become a mindset now, and it works. So definitely find some people to talk to. And it doesn't have to be, maybe you have somebody that you do whatever. You guys can do like some mundane task and FaceTime each other and do that like once a week. You know, maybe like work on a scrapbook or paint something or cut coupons or something where you're like sitting and doing something that doesn't require a lot of attention, and just FaceTime with people if you're not close in, distance to them. Um, what else did I want to tell you guys? I'm looking at my list because I want to make sure I got it. Oh, something special is coming up this weekend, right? I want to make sure because I keep saying that it's this weekend. Yeah. So this weekend is Mother's Day. Um, and okay, I'm going to show you guys the video. If you've already seen it, I apologize, but I want to show you the video of the gift that my 9-year-old got me. Okay, I'll try to be quiet. Ready? Oh, wait, close it back up. Okay.
I love that you are caring. I love that you are kind. I love that you are loving. I love that you are talented. I love that you are so fun to go on adventures. I love that you are good at spelling. I love that you care about me and everyone. I love that you are funny. I love that you are always working hard. I love that I love that you never give up. I love that you always are there for me. I love that you sing.
Do you love that I cry? That's beautiful, bud. Oh my gosh.
That's what those were for.
That's what those pictures were for? That is amazing. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I love it. Hopefully the sound worked. I don't know why it's not playing sound on my end. But this, oh my God, I seriously cried so much, and I might even cry talking about it. This was a huge deal to me, again, because I am like super focused on my legacy right now. Um, you know, we're always trying to make sure that we're showing our kids everything. And I'm not talking about like sitting here like, okay, I'm gonna physically teach you how to do something. I always, every single thing that I do is, I think about my kids. Um, I work hard because I want my kids to value hard work. I want them to see what hard work can do. I do things for other people, and I hope that my kids are learning to be kind and to be courteous. And you know, um, I'm not sitting there like telling them like you have to work hard, you have to be nice to people. I'm trying to like do things um and show them, these things. And so for him to point those things out on his gift, and to say that those are things that he loves about me, that really hit me hard, because those are the things that I want him to see. I want him to see that I work hard. I want him to see that I never give up. I want him to see that I'm kind to everyone. Um, because you, first of all, your kids don't listen when you tell them things. I've told my kids the same things millions of times over and over again. So I try to lead through example. I'm not going to sit there and say, look at me, I'm working hard, but I want them to see me work hard. So it was so, it was so validating and nice to have him say all of those things that I am constantly trying to show them. Um, it was nice. And it just is so good, because as parents, every single day, at least 4,872 times a day, you question what you're doing. At least the good parents do. You question, am I doing a good job? Am I doing enough? Are they turning into good human beings? Am I traumatizing them? Is this going to cause therapy visits later? You're constantly questioning what you do. And that's why this was such a big gift for me. Um, because like this whole job thing is totally different for me and for my family dynamics. I have always been there. My kids didn't go to daycare. They got off the bus and I was there. I took them to school. I got them on the bus. I have always been there. And so like yes, I want them to see that I'm working hard, but then also I'm like, am I screwing them up because I'm not home all the time anymore? Because there's, I miss not my kids. I would never miss my kids' birthday parties, but like we go to family friends or whatever, and I'm not there because I have to work. And so then I wonder if that's bad. Is it bad that I'm working? Is it bad that I'm showing them hard work? Am I showing them that work is more important than family? Like, you're constantly questioning it. And that's why this just brought so many tears to my eyes. And that's why I wanted to bring up Mother's Day and also Father's Day. But that's, we'll revisit that in next month. But if you don't get somebody a gift for Mother's Day, that's fine. Um, but just tell them that they're doing a good job, because it's something that they question. I promise you they're questioning it. And, they might not ever say the questions out loud. They might not ever tell anybody that they question it, but they question it every single day. And so, honestly, that is the best gift that you can give to somebody as a parent, Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever, or just randomly throughout the year. Just tell them that they're doing a good job. Um, it, it will mean more than you can ever understand, especially if it's, especially hard time for them. If they are really questioning whether they're, being a good parent, it means a lot. But okay, it doesn't also, let's just be nice to everybody. It doesn't just have to be parents. I think that we really have gotten away from just telling people that, because like I will tell people all the time, like, oh my gosh, you're doing such a great job. Or, they'll do something and I'm like, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You're just kicking ass at life. Just in general, you're just amazing. And people think it's so weird. Can we make that not weird? Can we just tell people that they're amazing? You guys are amazing. You're doing a good job. I'm super proud of you. Hello, Eddie Pence. I'm proud of you. You're amazing. And tell your mom I said Happy Mother's Day. Anne says you can tell how great you've done and how well rounded he already is just based on his varied answers. Yeah. And I'm telling you, Anne, I do not deserve that child. He is so good to me. He is so nice to me. He talks to me like that every day. He's just constantly just, I love you. You're the best. You're so smart. And I'm like, I do not deserve all of this. I don't know where he came from, but Darren says hello. Sorry I'm late, but I had to come in and support you. I appreciate you so much. Can we talk about that too? Can we like tell people that we appreciate them and like mean it? Like, can you appreciate your friends more, please? Talking to you, society. Um, it just it's it's the same thing. If you say something terrible to somebody and you don't know what they're going through and that could be their last straw, right? But it works the other way too. Um, you don't know, maybe somebody is struggling so hard and you just saying like, just randomly message somebody. Just every day pick somebody and just randomly message them and say, "Hey, I don't need anything. I just wanted to tell you that I think you're amazing and I think you're doing a really good job. And, you're doing really great at insert whatever they're doing here." Because it is the same thing. We don't know what people are going through. And in a good way, you don't know what your message is going to do to that person. It works both ways. Um, you don't know. They could be on the verge of giving up. And just that random message to validate, like, hey, you're freaking amazing. That could be the thing that changes everything for them. And I'm not even being dramatic. It happens. Sometimes people feel alone, and just having somebody give a shit about them is enough for them to slowly get motivated. If you've ever been depressed, and I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm having a sad day. If you've ever been through depression, like, don't take showers for weeks at a time, don't get off the couch, don't do anything, that kind of depression, you know that like one of the ways to get out of it is to just start doing something, right? So let's say you message somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, you're incredible. And I just am so proud of that thing that you've been doing. Maybe that person hasn't done that thing in a while, and just your one message is enough for them to start doing something again, or enough for them to get that teeny tiny little bit of motivation and get up off the couch or go take a shower. And then it starts a snowball effect. Like once they take a shower, then they feel better, a little bit better. So then they'll go and do the dishes. And then once they do the dishes, then they're even a little bit more better than that. And you could literally change somebody's life for the good or the bad. I mean, your words are so important. Um, your words are so important. And I think that that's something that we as a society forget, because good or bad, they can literally change somebody's life. And everybody thinks that, oh, it's just a comment. It's not. Good or bad, you can change somebody's life. And don't be the person that changes somebody's life for the worst. That is not a good legacy, and we're not going to do that. I know none of you are, but I'm just saying, again, I'm talking to you, society. um, I'm gonna make some t-shirts. Let's say, I'm talking to you, society. I Oh my gosh. Easton's outside my window playing Oculus. Weird child. Um, yeah, I just think that I social media is definitely to blame for so much of our downfall. Um, but it is good too because I have some of my very best friends are on social media, and some of them I've actually never even met. Um, so it does have its perks too, but I just wish that people would use it correctly. First of all, you're supposed to use it like if you need something, like, hey, does anybody have a circular saw laying around that I could borrow? Like that's what social media is for. Hey, I'm working on a Pinterest project. Can anybody save me some 2-liter bottles? I feel like that's what social media is for. And like sharing information on garage sales and stuff. Like it's not for destroying people's lives. We lost some focus there. We had this super amazing thing that has so much potential for doing good, and we took it and used it as a way to bully people around the world 24/7. Again, we messed up. But yeah, so Mother's Day, be nice to moms, tell them that they're doing an amazing job. And I'm seriously going to write up a questionnaire for you guys of the questions that really that really made me reflect on my life decisions and who I am as a person. Um, oops, let me get that off there. I'm going to write up a questionnaire for you guys just so you can hopefully have the same experience I did, and do some self-reflection. But I am going to get off of here, and you guys know the drill, right? If you have anything you want to talk about next week, then message either my personal Facebook page or the show page. Tell me if you want me to use your name, if you don't want me to use your name, um, or, if you just need to talk about something throughout the week, just let me know. And I will talk to you guys next week. And I appreciate you all so much. And I love you. And I hope that you have a great time. And I hope that you tell at least one person a day something nice. Eddie, you have a great weekend as well. Um, I will talk to you guys next week. Thank you so much.